Are you ready to see somebody's need for speed? I can put our wings in the wind faster than you could ever believe. Are you ready to rock? Fun that don't ever stop. We are on a crash course of freedom that's running on as long as we want.
The License and Registration Show is brought to you by Wheelhouse Storage, luxury garage condos for all of your toys. Visit wheelhousestorage.com for more information. Now on to the show. Welcome everybody to the License and Registration Show. I am your host, Mike Rioux. Today we have a great local group with us, Top End Auto Group, and I'm going to go around the table and let everybody introduce themselves.
Hey guys, Andre Gandianco, Top End Auto Group, president since 2000.
Nice.
TJ Touchton, been with the Top End since I was 19, so 15 years.
Solid.
My name is Adam, and I am actually the newest member of Top End. Joined January 2019.
Oh, okay. Gosh, you only got about a year under the belt.
Yeah, not new to the friends, but new to the group.
Awesome, yeah. Cool. So let's talk about Top End Auto Group. Where did it start, and how did it start?
Well, Top End Auto Group, it originated just here in Jacksonville. A bunch of friends just hanging out. Mm-hmm. Probably back in '99, and just we didn't make it official. Nothing was official. We just had a bunch of friends hanging out. Probably didn't start making anything official with Top End until about 2002.
Cool.
But yeah, just a bunch of close friends here in Jacksonville. All of us were into cars. Obviously, that was 20 years ago, and mm-hmm. it's definitely changed. So, but yeah, we've grown. We've got small, and had our ups and downs. But like every car club, it's been tough, but we're lucky to be around still.
So 99. That means you guys have been through several of, I like to call kind of the automotive generations, kind of the pre-Fast and Furious, Fast and Furious, yeah. Kind of I call it almost like a dead zone after that for a little while, and then into the revitalization period.
Yep. That was probably right around the time when I started driving. I mean, I was 16, started getting into my first car and everything, and we just kind of went from there. And other guys wanted to get their cars hooked up, and so we just kind of helped them out.
Cool. So what did you guys first kind of get into? Was it the show scene? Was it racing? Was it a little bit of everything?
It was mostly the show scene. I mean, back then, you kind of had all your body kits. A lot mm-hmm. of everybody was lowering their car. Back in 2002, or 2001, Fast and Furious came out, mm-hmm. and that was kind of the scene. That was everybody's like, oh wow, they looked at magazines and they saw it in the movies,
right? And
everybody wanted to hook up their cars, and that just kind of went from there. Everybody, had their hand-me-down or had a car when they were 16, and they wanted to do something to it.
Cool.
So that's kind of where it went.
So TJ, how about you? How'd you fall into this group?
Well, I actually just graduated high school, and I had a Civic, and I wanted a body kit for it. So I bought a body kit, put it on, and it wasn't fitting. And I had a friend introduce me to Andre and Archie, and they did a lot of body work back then. And they put it on for me, and they were like, hey, after you get it painted, bring it over, let us see it. So I did. And after that, they were like, hey, man, bring it out. We're going to hang out, have a group meet, and took it out, and all the guys saw my car, and they introduced me to everybody, and it kind of just went from there.
Sweet. So. And then Adam, a year in.
Yeah, a year in. What Top?
So how did they con you into the group?
Actually, it's pretty interesting. This happened around, I would say about 08, 09 is when I first met one of the members, Wayne, mm-hmm. which he was supposed to be on the show. And pretty exaggerating story that he always makes it seem to be.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to punch me when he saw me. But then This one I just moved here from Maryland,
Okay.
and I got my Civic. It wasn't this one, the current one I have. It was a 2-door coupe, and did some mods. I met Wayne, and then after meeting Wayne, we started hanging out, getting close, and that's when I met Dre, and then everybody else.
Cool.
So I've known them for about 13 years, maybe around there. So it's been a long time.
Oh, okay. Okay. So definitely not new.
No, definitely
Gotcha.
not. And I did try to get in a long time ago, but
And I can kind of piggyback on that just because one of the criteria just for joining the club was you got to hang out with us. You got to
Right.
be friends. I mean, not just, hey, we're going to slap a sticker on your car. It's a cool car. But
Right.
we want you to hang out. I mean, the main thing was, camaraderie, being good friends with everybody, just hanging out, on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I must introduce people more than 5 times, throughout a month or so. Just say, hey, this is so-and-so. You guys hook up, hang out, whatever, talk
Right.
about cars. And that was kind of our prerequisite almost, was to just hang out with the crew, people of the crew, or, we call them roadies. Roadies are kind of like that. They hang out, they do top end stuff. They, they do car stuff, and they get together, lunches, dinners, we all hang out. And you need help with your car, do some wrench time on it,
Yep.
with that guy. And that was kind of that prereq. We want everybody to kind of make that bond first before we, hey, let's slap a sticker on your car and call you top end.
Right. So it's really, I mean, that's old school traditional style club where, I mean, you didn't just hang up and like, oh, okay, well, you ticked all the boxes as far as the requisites. Like, oh, you got a body kit, you have wheels, you have this, you have that. Okay, you're in.
Yeah.
You guys are really going after more of that friends and family vibe that seems to be primary in the group.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we do barbecues, we hang out. I mean, back then when we first started, we were renting out space just to hold a meeting like at a hotel or something, and we're actually trying to be serious about it. And hey, these are our members. These are our next shows coming up. I mean, this was early, like 2005, 2002 kind of
Gotcha.
days. And we had agendas. We were okay. When's Hot Import Nights? When are we going to hit that? Who's coming? Let's arrange the hotels. This and that. Nopi Nationals. We went out there with a few cars, and that was, I can't even remember what year that was. I mean, that was a big show, and and those days were pretty awesome.
Nopi at its peak was special to say the least. I think the last time we went was 2004.
That might have been the one we were at too.
Yeah, because I know it wasn't long after that was it.
Yeah.
I never been.
Oh, you missed out.
Really good show. Yeah.
I think in its peak, they had 100,000 spectators come through the doors.
Gosh.
Yeah, I mean that's not cars, but I wouldn't say cars. It was several thousand as far as show cars go.
Right.
Yeah, I remember seeing the coverage on Super Street back in the day.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and those magazines, man. That's really what kind of got me going. I mean, just flipping through a magazine in the store, and I don't ever find myself doing that nowadays. I mean, and you don't find those good magazines on the stands anymore.
No, it's tough as far as publicate. Like everything, of course, went completely digital, and then trying to find something that's that you want to spend money on. Because back in the day, it was Super Street or one of those others you get a subscription for, and you couldn't wait for it every single month. But now I think it's just such an overabundance of just anytime you need something, bam, you can find it. You're not having to wait for it.
Yeah.
But we're actually starting to see, and we've talked to some of the folks who are in some of the other publications and the other industries where they're finding that there's this kind of like revitalization in regards to people wanting like a tangible piece of print, like a magazine. But now it has to be like really high quality. Like it's got to be a reason to flip through it, not just, the Sunday newspaper.
Yeah.
So how about you guys? As far as some of the events from the past, what were some of your favorites? Any good stories?
I mean, Hot Import Nights. I mean, that to me, we went out there quite a few times, and it was mainly down in Orlando.
Yep.
That was the closest show. I mean, we didn't really travel too far. I mean, to a car show. I mean, although a lot of all the cars in our club are pretty much daily drivers. Those guys, they drive their car day to day. I mean, we were younger back then. I mean, that was the only car we had, and we wanted to put money into it.
Yep.
So we were driving it every day. But we made that happen was to go down to a car show, and Hot Import Nights was a big one. Was it Daytona?
Spring Break Nationals.
Yeah, that was a big one too. But those were pretty much the big shows that we were hitting. And then obviously now, I mean, it's definitely died down quite a bit.
Yeah, we've talked. I think like Clean Culture, some of the others that have popped up. I don't know. It's just not the same vibe. I mean, you can go, but it's almost still just kind of like hanging out in the parking lot. There's nothing really to it.
Yeah, like the shows back then where like you just pay and go in and then just have fun. Where,
right.
Like, now it's like they have to pick which certain cars have to get in. And it's just definitely not the same anymore. It's not fun.
No, well, and I laugh because I started seeing when like Clean Culture and Simply Clean and some of them started doing those initial, like you'd enter, or you'd try to enter. You'd enter into the pool and hope you got chosen. And then if you did get chosen, like they'd make like those mini digital flyers with your car in the background. And when that first started and I started seeing everybody post these, I was like, what in the world? What's going on? Like, what is this? And yeah, and they're not cheap. Like,
No.
I mean,
I think they're like $60 to get in now.
yeah. And just to park and post up all day.
That's it.
Yeah. And even spectators are paying $20-something each
Like
just to
20,
get
30,
in.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a different world.
And I think that probably kind of came around because of Hot Import Nights. I mean, that was Hot Import Nights. It was like $45 to get in. And then if you brought a car and paid $45, dollars you can get in. And if you just bought a spectator ticket to get in, it was like $25, plus you had crappy parking.
Right.
And everybody was like, well, I'm just going to drive, mom's car up there and park, and get in the car show.
Right.
Well, they weren't even doing any kind of screening at that time. So
Right.
anybody could just park their car there just so they can get good parking.
Just for more
and
convenient parking.
they already get a ticket for their passenger, and they're in the show. So
Yeah. Well, but Hot Import Nights also had some there were events that happened in between. Like there was some entertainment, you had music, you had other things going on. And even now, like I still don't quite see that type of stuff at current shows.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, and I mean displays. I mean, just making a display for your crew. One of the things I like to go back to was ESIS. ECI had a car show back at the Prime Osborne in Jacksonville. I think we brought out maybe 12, 13 cars that day, and it was all about setting up your area. We had 3 motorcycles that were stunted out, that they were posted up. We had probably, a dozen cars just kind of scattered around in this area. And in the center of it was a living room space.
Oh,
we kind of made our area look like someone's house. We put a living room space, we set up a canopy, and we had couches there. We had a TV and a dresser, or a coffee table.
Right.
And it looked like somewhere you wanted to hang out. And that was kind of our area. And that's how we wanted to present ourselves, that we were a crew that could kind of gather around a table, hang out, and just talk cars, talk whatever, and still have fun at a car show. So that was a pretty cool time when we set that up there.
Sweet. I like that. Yeah, that's again, like you said, those static displays you really don't see as much. You may see a banner here or there, or one of the standing flags, but you don't see any type of elaborate show displays anymore. So yeah, let's get a little bit into the cars within Top. So what do you have in the group?
Right now I have a 94 Honda Accord, and I've been working on that probably for about 3 years now.
Okay.
Picked up a shell and had a stock motor that I wanted to build. Did a full OEM rebuild on it. Dropped it in and just kind of made it my daily driver. It was one of those cars that I just wanted to start driving around, and I love that thing. So
I love a good wagon.
and not a lot of people see that anymore, and or see that wagon hooked up particularly. So I do get quite a few heads turned on it. So
Yeah, no, it's a little outside of the normal box, but I love it. And even now, even recently, I've started looking at some wagons myself because I've seen a bunch anywhere from, like I said, an Accord wagon, Subaru. Now you look at some of those. I mean, it's just they're out there. I think it's kind of a new look.
yeah,
I think it's starting to hit a little vibe because you even look at Mercedes and E-wagons and things like that. They're holding their value. People are wanting them. Starting to see more of them show up at the shows. They're fun.
yeah. I mean, so as far as the cars go within Top End, I mean, we try to obviously everybody has their own, thinking they're into Hondas, they're into Fords, they're into Nissans or Lexus. And I mean, we try to keep it pretty open. It's nothing that like we try to turn down. I mean, if you have a passion on building a particular vehicle and you have a good idea about it, I mean, go ahead and all for it, go build it, we'll help you out. So that's kind of been the whole thing, was having different cars within the car club. We're not strictly Hondas. We're not strictly Nissans, or Lexus or Toyotas or anything. So, and we definitely want to open it up, to other cars. And, that's always been Top End. We've had anything from domestic cars to, imported cars too, from Japan. So, and actually we have quite a few cars that we've, some of the guys have imported from overseas.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
So TJ, you got the Mustang out there, but you said prior to that you had a Civic.
Yep.
So
I started with imports.
So you're a JDM'd domestic convert.
Yep.
So let's talk about that journey.
Trader.
Yes, I know. I got a lot of slack for that when it happened.
Well, I might have started that. I started in the car club with a 2000 Ford Contour.
Oh,
Yeah. So it wasn't. I mean,
so there's domestic roots in Top End.
there is actually me and my brother Archie. Archie started Top End. It was kind of his idea. He's a few years older than me, and he stemmed from it, and that was kind of his thing, was getting people together, working on cars, and between him and I, we grew up in cars.
Yep.
Dad was building Mustangs. Dad was building Mustangs. Used to work at Ford, and kind of just carried it over. And I built my first V8 289 when I was 14, and I built that with him. And we put it in a 1967 Mustang GT Fastback.
Nice.
And we built that, and after that was a 1973 Mach 1, and that must have got finished when I graduated 8th grade. So it was one of those things that we'd always been into, and I built my first import motor. It was a KA24 for a Nissan Stanza, and that was kind of my whole thing. I got into imports after that, and Dad helped me build that motor from the ground up, put it back in the car, and I was driving that Nissan Stanza for a little bit. So, and then after the Nissan Stanza conked out, I got into the Ford Contour. Well, that was because I was always working on Fords with Dad. So I said, well, I'm going to change it up a bit. So that Ford Contour kind of set the stage on what Top End does, almost, because we actually took body kits that didn't fit the car to make a body kit. They didn't make anything for the Ford Contour. SVT made a side skirts and lit package for it, but there was no front bumper for it. There was no rear bumper, and at that time, early 2000s, everybody was putting body kits on their car.
Oh yeah.
And luckily for us back then, Aerotrends was around. Aerotrends was around, and we got good with them, and they had cracked body kits laying around. Shipment came in, body kits were just whatever. So I went up there and I said, hey, can I get a body kit? You got anything laying around that's messed up? And I don't know, I think I picked up a Buddy Club front end for like $50, and we cut the top half off, and I we grafted onto the bottom half or the top half of the contour. So we had the top half of the contour and had the bottom half of the Buddy Club 1 bumper.
That's cool.
And molded everything on, got it to fit, and I think the back end was the Black Widow rear. I mean, some old school body kit names.
No,
back
yeah,
then,
like
you know.
you threw out Veilside, Black Widow, Shogun.
So we were making body kits for cars that didn't have body kits, and between my Ford Contour and my brother Archie had a Honda Accord, and he was putting a body kit on that it was a front end that came off of a Mitsubishi Diamante. Cut that sucker in half and grafted it to the Accord bumper. So we were making kits that people haven't seen, and we were taking them to car shows, and people were asking, you know, where'd you get that kit from?
Right.
So we made it.
We made it.
You know, so that was kind of you know how Top End kind of we started doing body work, and we started making one-off items and pieces that people weren't seeing. So
Yeah, no, definitely. So is that part of the encouragement for him going Civic Mustang?
No.
So how long did you have the Civic?
I had the Civic, man. I had it 5 years.
Yeah.
So I got it at 16. My dad wanted me to get a truck, and his friend had a 96 Civic EX for sale, and I was like, I want that. He was like, what? So I got that. After I graduated, put an R34 front end kit on it with a Buddy Club rear and Buddy Club side skirts. And Andre and Archie helped me with that. They put that whole thing on, and had that for a long time, and I loved it. And then got hit by a drunk driver, and I was like, didn't realize insurance didn't pay for body kits. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to something else. And I didn't know what I wanted, was looking at a few things, and then I got my friend's Mustang and drove that. And I was like, okay, I want a Mustang. I was like, the power, the torque, everything. I was like, man, I got to get that.
So did he have an S550 as well, or?
No, this was back in 2000. Man, it was a long time ago.
Oh, okay. So
this
this is
back. It was just 5 years into having that. So I was 22, 23. Bought a 2004 Mustang GT black, and then I showed up at his house, and Andre's dad loves Mustang, so he was like thrilled that I had that thing.
yeah.
So when he showed up with it and everybody else is standing around, what were the thoughts?
Not the same as his dad, I can tell you that.
Yeah. No, I mean, to me, I've always seen TJ in a domestic car, you know, particularly Ford. So we had a couple other guys that had Fords too as well. And I mean, it's always been kind of partial. And then, of course, you know, we had a few guys that had the imports.
Yeah.
So
it's like, Adam, your Civic, how long have you had this one?
The hatch I had since 08, 09, and bought it bone stock. But when I bought the hatch, it had to be a 9.3 SI. Couldn't be anything less. So got a bone stock, found it here in Jacksonville, and just been building it ever since.
Oh, okay. No, and I've seen you done quite a few track days. So is it built for track, or is it just something you enjoy?
Something more I enjoy.
Yeah.
Is I could say halfway track type build, I guess you want to say it, call it like that. But more fun. It used to be turbo back in the day.
Yeah.
That's when I tried to join Top End. But yeah, I mean, it may take over 10 years to join Top End, but you
gotta pay your dues.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's tough.
You know, paint jobs and more body work and a lot more money put into it, but it's all worth it. The track thing I got into about 09, but it might introduce me to the firm.
Oh yeah.
And so I started doing my first track day, and I was hooked ever since.
Really? So what do you like about the firm?
Oh man, everything. When they first started, they had a wall, so it was a very slow track. But ever since they opened it up, it's a very fast track. I mean, it's a great learning track. It works your brakes, but it does teach you how to control your car.
That's cool.
the main thing.
Have you ever done any like SCCA autocross? Or is that not quite the style you like?
Yeah, not quite my thing. I like the high performance driving.
Gotcha.
Instead of dodging cones and stuff. They might hate me for saying that, but
Hey, it is what it is. I mean, SCCA, you're going to max out about 60-ish miles an hour. I know the firm, you'll get up a little bit past that.
Yeah, it can get up to 100 plus.
Yep.
Before you have to hit that brake and get in turn 10, turn 1. So it's fun.
So they've done quite a bit there recently as far as just overall improvements to the track, things like that. What are they doing right? Like, are you seeing like a growth, like more people interested in it?
Oh yeah, like even on normal track days, so when we go there, there's always new drivers. Even for our iBot Track Attack that we did Sunday, there's actually a bunch of new drivers. TJ being one of them.
Oh,
It's a fun track. A lot of people will want to go to that after their first experience, and we're gonna have another one in October.
oh, that'll be nice. Hopefully, it'll be a little cooler too.
Hopefully, but it's Florida.
Yeah, it's Florida. Who
It's
knows?
Florida. We never know.
So, what type of things you guys now? What's total membership? Like actual members of Top End right now?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say. I guess we're probably right at about, let's see, I'd say about 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of probably about 6 or 7 cars on the road that are driving around with a sticker.
Yep.
Then you have some project cars that are kind of sitting at bay right now getting worked on. And then, you might have, I think we have about 2 or 3 roadies that just hang out, and,
Cool.
we definitely want to bring them along. So yeah, I'd say we're right in there in that, 8, 7, 9, 8
I'd
range.
probably say 10 max, maybe
Yeah.
Yeah.
around there.
Cool. What are you guys kind of looking at moving into the future? What type of things are you all wanting to try to get into? You seeing anything special upcoming for you guys, or anything you're trying to work into?
Not really. I mean, the guys are definitely getting into the track stuff a lot. So, that's, I think some of the guys are getting interested in that. Other than that, I mean, I think we've been trying to build a website for a while too. And that's kind of, been up and down. Just trying to get photos of everybody's cars and keep it consistent. And but people are changing their stuff, and and that's fine. Some cars are down, some cars are up. It's a day-to-day thing, so it's kind of hard to balance that and say, all right, who's going on car show today? Whose cars are ready?
Right.
And who can we get out? And nowadays everyone's a little older. Everyone has families. They're out doing their own things. So,
Yep.
So, but we're still getting together. We're still trying to hang out. So that's definitely the big thing. I mean, it's just making sure everyone's together. We could almost, care less if you're building your car right now. I mean, but you just kind of take it day by day.
So is it more so now, like we talk about more like the family and friends side of thing than it is actually like, all right, we got to hit, 10 shows this year, 15 shows this year. It's kind of like, hey, if it works out and everybody wants to go, cool, we're going. If not, we're hanging out at the house, throwing something on the grill, that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times where it's only been like 2 people going. I think Adam and I hit IFO, together, and either people just couldn't make it or their car was down. And we still try to do that, and regardless whether you're ready or your car's ready, we still encourage them to come hang out and support. But other than that, I mean, it's really just trying to get everybody together, whether their car's up and running or not.
I think a lot of us look forward to garage days with barbecue and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just have everybody bring their cars and just come hang out.
Yep, definitely. So do you guys have, and I know we're not necessarily talking about, okay, well, we got to go to this show, we got to go to that show, but individually, do you guys have an individual event that you kind of look forward to every year?
For me, it's kind of just Just anything, really. I don't have a particular show that I like to go to. I've been in the Honda Accord for about 3 years now, and actually, I mean, the big one was IBOC in Orlando. The IBOC meet, to me, I mean, that was my first time bringing the Honda out there, and I think it was the first year that IBOC came to Orlando, and from that point on, I enjoyed that. So, but I think the iBox show pretty much hits it.
I think this might be the last year for iBox. So, but we'll never know. And Ryan, the guy that runs iBox, he might add extra events in the future, but who knows?
Right. How about you, TJ? What's some of your faves?
I mean, I think Hot Import Nights was always my favorite, and when that went away, I was like, oh man. And now it's kind of, I like going to any of them, really. If I can make it to one, I'll make it to one.
Have you guys been to any of the other, not necessarily car shows, but the large race events? Let's say either Rolex at Daytona or track events at Road Atlanta or anything like that.
I've always been a fan of Rolex. Yep. Rolex 24 is I've probably only been out there maybe 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
I mean, we do it. Me and our buddy, we've done it big where we've got the VIP packages, the Brumos package. I think we've got that one year. A buddy of ours was doing something for Ferrari, and we got into Ferrari's booth, and we had the champagne, the food, and we partaked in all of that. And I was like, this is pretty cool. But
it's almost a polar opposite from Hot Import Nights.
I mean, being out there and watching those cars run, I mean, it's pretty sweet. And if you haven't been there, I mean, that's definitely one to go to is Rolex 24. But it's been hard to get tickets, and it's been hard. I mean, tickets as far as to go camping and put your camper there on site. We've been trying to do that for the past 2 years, and I think
you've got to put in the day it opens up almost.
That we've got the crappiest hotel outside of the speedway, and I mean, then again, there were times where we slept in our cars, and we paid maybe almost $200 or $300 just to drive into the track, and we stayed in the track, and I mean, we were kind of in our car just hanging out. Yeah. And I mean, it does get expensive. I mean, a VIP ticket, it was costing almost $700, $800, and and it was nice to just kind of blow that chunk of change on it and do it, a one-time thing and enjoy
the experience.
Experience it.
Exactly. How about you guys? Any big races you've been to? Anything you enjoy outside of kind of the own event, the events that you individually participate in?
Well, I think the best event I've been to is 2011 Import Alliance in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great 10-hour drive. I never drove up I-75, so I could see all the mountains and stuff like that. But it was a 2-day event. They had road course there. I didn't run at that track, but it's a far drive, so if something happens, I want to make it home.
It's one thing when you're only an hour from the house and something breaks, but when you're 10 hours, it's a different thing.
But that was a great 2-day event, and I think that's one of the best so far. And but ever since that, it's been iBot.
Gotcha.
That I always look forward to.
How about you, DJ?
I always like Rolex, but probably one of my favorites is Formula Drift. And, up in Atlanta.
Yep.
And I love going to that. I went to it a few times, but it falls on Mother's Day, so that's the worst part about it. So it's like my mom didn't like that one too much, but I loved going to there and seeing Forsberg. He won, Von Gittin Jr., meeting all those guys.
I almost kind of get some of the party vibes from Hot Import Nights at drift events. Yep. Like there tends to be a lot that goes along with it. Because of course it's not like they're really going around a gigantic track or anything else, and the heats are pretty quick, so they kind of fill it in with everything else. I think I kind of enjoy that. So as far as cars now, are there any plans for some future vehicles here shortly?
There's quite a
who has an Auto Trader saved list.
Well,
it would be the guys that are sitting down right now.
I don't know if it's an Auto Trader list. It's already sitting at the house
Oh.
getting built.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of the guys have something like that, and you know, it's just something that we don't stop doing. You know, I mean, Top End, we've been around, you know, early 2000s, and we've constantly been doing it. We might have had, you know, a break, you know, a couple of years here and there where everybody was in and out and down, but I mean, we've kept doing it. You know, there's not too many car clubs around town that are still, you know, from that age, you know. But everybody's obviously changed their cars, you know, more than once. They've had projects that have come and gone. I mean, some projects that haven't finished. I mean, and finished and totally forgotten and then sold. So, but we, you know, some of the guys, they, you know, they constantly look at cars. They say, man, this whole importing thing's becoming easier now, and people are wanting to import something. And, you know, finding better ways and easier ways to do that, or getting with somebody or a shipping company to be able to get that stuff. So that's becoming more and more, you know, a possibility. But there are some project cars out right now. So
anything we can talk about? I know sometimes the garage is closed until something's a little closer to being on the road.
I mean, speaking of some cars, Archie here, he can fill in about that part.
Okay.
So I'll switch my seat that way.
We could bring Archie in here in a second.
Bring Archie in, he can tell you.
Yeah. Archie's he's my brother. He's definitely been the originator of Top End. He's had his downtime, and I've taken over early on. But he's back into the scene. I'd say more recent, within the, you know, past few years, and he's got some projects that he's building.
Very cool. So I'll ask another question real quick. There's always that one in the group. And whatever that one you want to define as, but someone who goes through cars every 6 to 12 months, like they just can't land on something. So you got the one guy who's owned the same car since high school, and then you've got another one who it's like, oh, you're getting another one already.
Well, right off the bat, I mean, Mike's had the Integra since high school. He's had that blue 4-door 94 Integra. He's been with the crew, you know, pretty long too as well. I knew him in high school, and he's had that Integra through high school. First guy I knew with a Bomb-X body kit. I mean, a Bomb-X body kit, you know, and on a 4-door Integra. I mean, that was kind of like, wow, you know. I mean, it's a pretty extreme kit back then.
It looked like a space show. That's when I first saw it.
And,
it was painted black and white.
And he still has that car till today, and it's gone through different iterations of you know, the look over the years. But and then we got, I think, Wayne.
I think Wayne's the one that's.
Wayne's got a daily driver, and he's also got a car that he likes to play with. And between the daily driver and the car he likes to play with, I think I've seen both of those change probably 6 times.
He'll go from like performance to luxury, back to performance, and back to luxury. Like he'll switch off.
So I'm kind of a mix. So I wouldn't say project car, but my weekend car I literally bought it the day of my senior prom. So it's a 91 MR2 turbo. So I went from driving a 4-door Saturn to this the night of my prom. Nearly killed my date and I when I learned about boost creep. But then my dailies, I go through pretty damn quick. Like my wife gave me a hard time. So I daily now, I've got a 2017 4-door Jeep Wrangler. And it was one of those I bought, and I'm like, I'm just going to leave it stock. And then 2 weeks in, it was lifted in tires, and it was done.
That's usually the first words out of our mouth when we get something. I'm just going to leave it stock.
I'll leave it be for a little bit.
We'll give it a week.
Yep.
But she may be, so prior to that, there were 2 Mini Coopers. One lasted 11 months, and then I went in to get an oil change and ended up in the next one. And then I was in that one for about 6 months. Until I got the Jeep, and then the wife was like, hey, you got 2 years, you can't swap it out. But I will say it's been 3 years that I've owned the Jeep. So
Nice. That's a
You gotta make it four.
It's an accomplishment.
Make it four.
I don't, probably, yeah. Like that's why I laugh about like an Auto Trader list. So like mine's like car ADD. It depends on like what day of the week, whether I'm looking at a truck or performance or luxury or this or that, and who knows. I think right now at the top of my list, I was thinking about a mid 2000s S2000.
Yeah.
So
It's a good choice.
yeah. Well, I look at it, so I don't really drive too far to work, and I don't really necessarily need something like we don't do a lot of off roading anymore. Most of the time, if we do any type of off roading, it's driving on the beach. So other than that, like thinking about maybe going back to low and something I can take around a corner or two.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a 4-wheel drive truck. That's my other,
Yeah.
and I love that thing. I mean, it gets me around everywhere, and but yeah, definitely got to have that other vehicle that can do everything you want it to do, and have
Right.
your show car and whatever. So
Yeah, we kind of do the same. Like I said, we use the Ford Escape to basically long road trips, pack stuff in, things like that. It's great. But we've got a camper, and we've got a big full-size passenger van, and it
Okay.
kind of looks like a free candy van. And that's what we use to tow the camper around with. We've got to change the color because right now it's still white.
okay, it's still looking creeper.
And we can't take it anywhere without friends going like, "Hey, where's the candy?" So,
Yep.
so we've had a swap at the mic. Archie, how's it going, man?
How you doing? Thanks for having us on the show, man.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely. So with these, I kind of gave everybody the rundown. So just make sure you're kind of up on the mic a little bit because they're kind of broadcast style
Okay.
mics. But you can, if you want to sit more comfortable, move it around, do whatever you need to do. It's all good.
Hey, that's good right there. Yeah.
Cool. So tell me about your involvement in Top End Auto Group.
So, like my brother said, I founded the crew maybe about early 2000, maybe 2001. I grew up restoring Mustangs with my dad, and so we've been gearheads ever since we've been little kids. So that's how that whole car bug started, and then, of course, I turned 16. I want a nice car. So anyway, long story short, I didn't get my nice car until I was about 20, 21, where I could buy my own car. It was a series of hand-downs since.
Gotcha.
But no, I got myself a nice Honda Accord, 4-door, and built that up, dressed it up. I've always been into more of the aesthetic, the look, a little bit of performance. So I thought, well, I like this. Let's start a club. So, we just got together with some really close friends, and we all had the same feeling, and here we are.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then like my brother said, I started around 2000, did that for a couple of years, and then life happened, and I had to duck out. So I literally gave up the whole car thing. I got news that I was having a daughter, so
Oh, yes.
yeah, that'll do it to you.
Seen plenty of cars on Craigslist.
Yeah, all of a sudden you see these nice cars on Craigslist. Well, guess what? They're probably expecting. So again, found out that I had a daughter and gave up the whole car scene. Said, "Look, bro, I can't handle this." Carried on. I did, work on me. My daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And then 15 years later, like you said, here I'm back. And I'm not back with my old car. I literally, again, gave up everything and then just jumped back into it like nothing happened. So, again, you mentioned projects, and I'm not coming out with one car. I've just got, I've got a daily. I came across an LS430, and then at the same time, I picked up another LS430.
Oh.
One fender flares and one. Again, I'm all about the aesthetics, so and a little bit of performance. So, one has, well, they're actually both wide body in a case, but both wide body. I got a Supra, building that up too.
Very cool.
And then what else? Today, I just got parts in for a car I don't even have yet because, well, y'all mentioned importing parts. Well, yeah, importing cars is getting easier, and of course, importing parts is easier. I literally bought a full wide body kit and had it shipped over here like it was ordering stuff from California.
Yeah.
It came from Japan.
Yeah. No, it's crazy how easy it is now to bring things over. Because if you think about even early 2000s, mid 2000s,
Oh yeah.
kind of really before, I mean, internet's taken off and things are going along, but still like either between regulations and importing and exporting and everything in between, there's so many more hurdles that you had to go through. There weren't quite the connections across the pond that, we have now. And of course, a lot of the cars that we all grew up with are now finally hitting that 25-year mark, and now they can come over much, much easier.
Oh yes, I think probably the worst problem right now is people our age. The late 20s, mid 30s. The cars of our dreams are now literally dirt cheap. I mean, you can get a Skyline, Nissan Skyline R32 for under 10.
Yep.
Which is change for a mid 30s guy if he's doing well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're all reliving our dreams literally. Back in early millennia, you open up these magazines and you see, wow, I'd love to have that car. Oh, you can.
Yeah. Or if you got it here, it was in a very sketchy manner.
Oh, exactly. You see the VIN number scratched off and all that, and it's a gray market car. But no, we're just we're really enjoying it. I guess we're in our more or less our prime because everything is so easy to access, both cars and parts.
Yeah, definitely. So what is the car that you bought the parts for that has not arrived yet?
Oh yeah. Well, with me, it's not anything I build. It's not really any big secret what I'm doing. How I do it, that's a different story.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean,
as far as building and all that, yes.
Right. And from like our earlier conversations, we were talking about how body kits being custom, a lot of custom pieces, one-off pieces, things like that. So, yeah, I mean, you can definitely we could probably speak to the car, but you can't really speak to what the end result's going to be because you may have a vision for what it is, but it may not be something that's physical yet because it has to be made. Okay,
so I've always loved wide body cars. That's like the most extreme you can do to the exterior, aside from the headlight, taillight conversions, which I'm not really a fan of. But I've always been a fan of wide body cars, whether you fender flare it or you do a true wide body. So the parts that I got in today, I actually imported from Japan, Yahoo Auctions, found a BN Sports blister wide body kit for an R32 Skyline. So after I finish one LS430 is getting painted, hopefully this weekend. Next, I'll start on the Supra. After the Supra I've got a handle on the Supra, then I'll start the Skyline.
Right.
Hopefully I'll do something a little bit more different with it as far as, the drivetrain and the trim. Usually I like to keep all the interior, all the motor, and, just boost it up and all. But hopefully the Skyline will be something a little bit more not me,
Right.
Some crazy engine swap, transmission swap, gutted interior, you can ask guys, that's not my style, but I'm going to do it. So, I mean, I have enough cars to enjoy the luxury, so why as well, let's gut one out.
Do you find any trends, and specifically I'll say JDM, at least at this point, because I know most of the cars are JDM in the group. Are there any JDM styles that you either really like and would like to build, or things you would like to pick elements from?
Okay. Well, for my dailies, I really like the whole VIP style. Old VIP, not to be confused with this new stuff you see around with double-digit camber and
right.
I'm talking about the old school VIP. So that's how when you see my the LS430s, they're just very subtle, almost OEM looking, but there's something custom done to it.
Gotcha.
So that's what I like. And of course, one thing I was a big fan of when I was younger was Tokyo Auto Salon cars, where they had no expense. There was no limit. So they built them out.
Yeah, it was.
So that's where I'm going to go with the Supra and the R32. Both cars will have the BN Sports wide body, which you saw in early 90s pretty frequently, and they're still doing it today. But yeah, big wide bodies, big wheels, built motors, that kind of thing.
Nice. That sounds cool. I look forward to seeing
like
something.
A retro flavor,
Yeah.
I'm trying as much as possible not to use new aftermarket.
Gotcha.
Well.
So
unless it's new old stock. So
oh yeah, definitely. No, I like that. So now that you're back in the club, as far as in some of the activities and everything else, what do you see different about Top End today than early 2000s?
I think we're much more laid back than previous generation. Previous generation, yeah, we're young and dumb, and let's go to Daytona, and we'd do it in a blink of an eye. If we're to do a Daytona trip or Orlando, well, let's think about it. Let's plan it out.
The logistics.
Hey, can you come out? Hey, we're going to do this thing this weekend. Oh, I got the kids this weekend, you know.
Right.
We got Disney. So I would say Top End now. Even though we're all together, we're all best buds, it's harder to plan things.
Yep.
For one, we're older and life happened, and we're just trying to make it happen. You know, we can either do this or sit on a couch.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to do this as much as possible.
I like it.
You know, it's in our blood. I guess one thing about Top End, we don't get these fly-by-night guys. These guys, they love, breathe, sleep cars. You know, it's just in our DNA. It's in our blood. We're just not some bunch of guys that, I saw this movie. I like this car. I want to buy it.
Let's go hang out in a parking lot.
Yeah, let's go throw some stickers on it. No. It's not like that. So I guess that's one thing that's different about this club. You're going to have to pay your dues to get in this thing.
Right.
You know, and it's not money. It's not what kind of car you have. What's in your heart. That's what we got.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier. It's really about that more of the old school family style of clubs where it wasn't just, okay, well, you tick boxes and now you're in. It's like, no, it's let's hang out. Let's see who you are as a person.
Right.
Things like that. And I think that's kind of that kind of proves the measure in how Top End has kind of stood the test of time. Is you're not looking to be, 50 or 100 cars deep. You're looking for quality people to be around.
That's why it's called a group.
Yeah.
Top End Auto Group. Yeah, cars are a great thing, but we're a group, number one.
Yep.
And it's just we try to find those guys that are just really, into it, not just because of some fly-by-night car or some movie or whatnot or some trend. They've got to be born with it.
Yeah. No, definitely. You see that, or you definitely don't see that sometimes too in a lot of groups or a lot of crews. It just seems to be, who can stack an event with the most banners, and you really don't see many of them either hang out as friends, like just doing other things. Like, yeah, you kind of all have that camaraderie around the car, but once that's over, is there anything past that? So I mean, it's great to see a crew that has been around for 2 decades, and you still have a lot of the same people in it, a lot of the same values, a lot of the same things going on. That's pretty awesome. So, kudos to you guys for putting together something like that.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, as we kind of sunset the event here, when we move forward in regards to where Top End is at, and if there is anything that you would change about it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something like, oh yes, this is what we have to do, but in a perfect world, is there something you would tweak?
If there's a thing I could wish for the crew, that I could snap my fingers and it would happen. 15,000 square foot garage that we can just tear shit up in.
Like legit clubhouse.
Yes, absolutely.
Full shop, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pipe dream for me, but now that we're all making better money, we're all situated. I'm seriously thinking about in the next 2 years, my next home will be a very small home, but a very large 12, 15 car garage.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like I said, I've got 2 daughters now out of the house, so it's just the wife and I now, and we're like, we could downsize a lot here and grow a lot here.
Yeah. So, right now we just kind of, we have a kind of a central garage that we kind of mess around in and, bond that way or whatever and work on projects. But one thing that I would like to see for the crew is just a one place where we can all hang out and really shut everything off and just, get back to our roots,
Yep.
And work on cars, build cars. Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. Now, if somebody was interested in joining Top End, what does that process kind of look like? Now, I know that it's not necessarily, or maybe, I don't know, it may be written in bylaws or something like that, but what does something look like that?
Well, there's nothing written. That's what's cool about it. There is no dictatorship, no rules or anything. But you asked the question, if there was someone that was really interested, that had that heart, that had that desire, all that passion, and ready to build something at the drop of a hat, obviously it would go step one through Andre, the new president. And of course, he'll ask me, then he'll ask some of the, the seniors in the club, how we really feel about it. Because this guy's going to hang out with us. We all, some of us have kids.
Yep.
We can't bring these crazy kids out here, crazy people out here with, doing donuts and this and that. And I've got my 15-year-old here,
It's not the example you want to set.
It won't be long. We're going to have a second generation, not a second phase, but a second generation of actual club members.
Yeah.
She's not hearing this probably, but one of my projects is a car for her.
That's awesome.
We got a GS 300 for her. But so, not to get off subject, but if someone was really interested, check in with Andre. He usually checks in with me. And then once that this guy's pretty cool. Well, I tell people, you got to do a 1-year internship. And I'm not saying run errands for us. You just simply hang out with us.
I'll have a grande white mocha.
That's that prerequisite we talked about. You got to
hang out.
Right.
That's it. Hang out. Let's see what you got going on. Do you really have a desire to build a car, or did you just buy something that you saw and you're going to drive it till it falls apart? No. We weigh in a lot of factors. And yes, you'll be under a microscope to a certain extent, but really it's just hang out. If you like to hang out, have fun, you want to build a car, let's build a car. You want to do some road trips? Absolutely. So that kind of thing. That's what we really look for. Obviously, character falls in that place. You can if you check off all these theoretical boxes, then and you hang out, you're good.
Nice. Yeah. Now, speaking to younger generation, second generation, say there's a group of kids right now in high school, car guys themselves, and they want to start a crew or a group. What type of advice do you give them to have the best chance at it being something that lasts more than, a summer?
Well, I would say set a goal. What does your crew want to do? Do you want to go out there and just see how many donuts you can do in a parking lot on, cruise night or whatever? If that's the thing, well, guess what? You're going to last a summer and that's it. But down to the heart, if you hang out with like-minded people, no matter what they drive, no matter what they have, no matter what they think, if they've got that heart, they've got the desire to build and preserve, because now that we're getting these nicer imports, okay, and of course I see a lot of young kids, they're not getting that brand new Honda Civic on the showroom floor. They're getting, hey, Dad, I want a Skyline. Dad, I want this Supra, or Dad, I want this Corolla, because they're available and they're cheap and they're easy to insure. But that would be one thing, what you want to do, what do you want to build, what do you want to preserve. If you're going to preserve, guess what? Your crew is going to last a little longer than a summer. And of course, the people you choose. You can't have all these guys that are just wanting to race anybody, wanting to rev. We have, speaking of which, we have this kind of unspoken rule in the group. You don't rev on anyone. You don't respond to anyone revving on you. That's just
yeah. I mean, I think all the guys in the crew pretty much understand that. I mean, it's if you're not, if somebody's revving up next to you and they really want to try you, and I mean, by all means, race them. But I mean, there's a point where when that is too much. And,
time and a place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And I think the guys have been in it long enough to understand where they should race, where they should get on somebody, and there's things like that all of the guys are pretty much aware of. But yeah, I mean, not just doing. Not responding to somebody that's just revving up.
Has that come with age and maturity?
We're all young and dumb at one point.
We don't really have any younger folks in the crew, so I mean, it's kind of that's why we we've been around so long too. It's a lot of the guys have been in it for so long.
Gotcha.
So
So last bit, I do a little thing called daily race and crush. And so the exercise is I'll give you 3 vehicles. You can tell me which one you'll daily, which one you'll race, and which one you'll crush. And what I really like about this group is that you guys have such a varied collection of vehicles. And so normally I kind of do, I'm like, oh, I pick these random cars out of nowhere. Like the first group I had in, it was some folks that dealt with some of the high ends. And so we actually went down the wall and we picked some of these cars. Others, I've done some Fast and Furious cars, so it's been fun. But so now I get to play on everyone's heartstrings and use some actual vehicles from the crew and then get people's answers from that.
Oh man.
wow.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 3. So, Dre, I'm going to pick your Honda.
Okay.
We're going to go with the domestic. And then we're going to go with the LS 430. So we've got these 3 vehicles. You get a daily, race, and crush.
Oh boy.
And that's why I love it, because there's
Okay.
3 completely
Yeah.
different styles right now
That
at the
is cool.
table.
That is
And
cool.
and I figured I could probably get 3 answers, 3 different answers.
I personally like the daily, the LS 430, as it sits. The Honda Accord, yeah, I've built it for a daily, but people are probably gonna hate me, but I'd probably crush it. And I'd race the Mustang. That's I mean it's kind of crazy because that's the car that I built. I put into the Honda Accord,
Right.
But here I am saying that I want to crush it. And I don't think it's because it's a Honda.
But given the choices.
That's probably I think the first Honda I've owned, so it's not dear to my heart.
Okay, I can take that. I can respect that. DJ?
So I definitely daily the LS because I love that car. That car is awesome.
Archie, you're doing good so far.
You almost bought it.
Yeah, I did. So I daily that. Definitely would have to race the Mustang. I love the Accord because you don't see it around anywhere else. But
I'm giving you guys something
I'd
to
have
talk
to crush
about
it.
later when this is done.
yeah, I know. Tonight's going to be interesting.
TJ, you're out of the club.
Okay, so if I were stricken with 3 different cars, Honda, the Accord, the LS, and the Mustang, okay. Nothing against the Mustang club or crew or Mustang enthusiasts and all, but I really don't care to see another Mustang. Growing up, restoring them, building them,
That's true.
I've
You've probably been around them enough.
been around them enough. Yes. Let's see, all those car shows Dad drugged me to, Atlanta, and all those places for those Mustang. Hey, I respect Mustang, but if I had 3. They would go in the crusher.
Okay. So what are we racing and what are we dailying?
I'm going to flip it around. I would daily the Accord and the LS 430, gutted out to its shell and a crate box for a seat, having nothing but that V8 motor, which, by the way, they make a 6-speed conversion kit for it.
Nice.
Twin turbo. I'd race the hell out of it.
He's thought
I like
about
it.
As it
Come
crossed
to
my
that.
mind. Yeah, it has crossed my mind, but maybe on the other car.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thank you so very much for taking the time out of your day to come out and be on the show. It was definitely my pleasure to have you guys on. And I hope at another point we can have you out for some more talks,
absolutely.
some more events. We got a lot of stuff happening. So again, thank you guys so much for coming out.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it, Mike. Thank
All
you.
right. Everybody that's out there listening or watching, don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Are you ready to see somebody's need for speed? I can put our wings in the wind faster than you could